You know, it's been said that if you think positively, things will probably be better for you. You hear constantly in the news that people who think positively tend to be more healthy, they tend to live longer. And I think we really need to take a look at that as to whether that is actually true, whether there is something about positive thinking and having a better quality of life. In working with hundreds of entrepreneurs over 13 years, I found that they don't really do a lot of positive thinking because they have careers to build, they have children that they're raising. Just look back at your process there. Did you have a positive attitude doing all that? No. You didn't have a positive attitude because there were always negative things that were going on in your life, right? And so we always have negative conditions. There are current conditions that we could describe as unexpected, that are not ideal, that we don't really want. And they're not a function of our problem. They're not a function of our level of thinking. They're a function of kind of the universe dropping in the conditions that happen to us. We can choose either to react or respond, or we can choose to kind of operate in a different way. And so I just find that positive thinking is kind of positive lying. It's a way of kind of charming ourselves out of not wanting to know the truth and what's really going on. And I find that a lot of the entrepreneurs have a different type of relationship. They're on different terms with reality than that. They feed off of the reality that they find themselves. No matter where it is, in contrast to where they want to be, they see it as a source of energy. It's kind of like an archer, you see, that over here is this current situation, and over here is what we want to create. And by having this pull between these two, what we call structural tension, the discrepancy that's formed, the pressure system like a rubber band between these 2 points, what we learn to do is by being absolutely straight and honest and accurate in our perceptions about what's going on, in contrast to what we want to create. And we don't compare this to anything else but what we want to create. Something that happens, something is summoned that is unexplainable. There's a force in nature, by virtue of the laws of nature, that kind of works in our favor to resolve this on our behalf. It's almost miraculous how certain things just seem to happen. Coincidences seem to happen out of these forces that are at play. But in order for these forces to come alive, in order to establish them, we must commit ourselves to 2 capacities. Number 1 is to consistently practice accurate perception, seeing factually what's going on. And number 2 is to consistently stay with that future result, that picture, that intention in our hearts that we really want to create. Now, there are a couple things that we can do in order to maintain or hold steady to this relationship over time, because over time what's going to happen is through steps and action, we're going to close this gap, right? But to do that, we may need some personal practices that will help this process happen. And one of those things is to let our mind be quiet, is to meditate, is to be still, is to get our mind into a quiet mode so that we can more accurately decode what's really going on right now. When I say decoding, that means we're not in the hallucinations of our mind, we're not in our thoughts, we're really looking at what's actually going on. And when we do that and we're not affected, right? In other words, we're not thrown so off track that we're inaccurate about it, but we're honest about our emotions about it. We're able to be human with all of our defects coming forth. We're not at issue with that because there's bigger business to attend to. What we want to create is bigger, it's more dominant than anything else that we feel, anything else that we're sensing in us. We're not in relationship to our identity. We're in relationship to what we want to create. And so we really shift kind of the orientation here. And when we do that, we can kind of use what's not working as an asset as opposed to freaking out about conditions that we didn't expect. So is it about positive thinking, or is it about practicing an accurate view of current reality? It's an acquired taste.